Hi, Pre-Algebra students, it's Miss Carol, and I am putting together project videos for every single project question in Pre-Algebra. So this is the very first one, and I am going to be giving you what I think are really good answers for all of these questions. You're welcome to use my answers. Because then I'll know that you watched the video, and that's kind of participation credit. I'm totally fine with that. If you choose to do different answers, especially on this first one, because these are somewhat of opinionated based questions, just make sure that you're thoroughly answering the question and kind of use what I'm doing as a guide. Okay? So let's go ahead and jump right in. I will do lesson 1 in this video, and then I'll do separate videos for lessons 2 through 5. Okay? So for lesson 1, we've just got 2 questions. A group of 6 friends is planning to host a birthday party and will invite between 12 and 20 friends. The 6 friends need to determine the amounts and costs of items needed for the party. So we want to take some time and just analyze this situation. And the first thing that kind of comes to my mind is if I've got 6 friends planning this party, but we're going to invite 12 to 20 friends, then I will end up anywhere between 18 and 26 total people attending the party. And so that's assuming that the 6 friends who are planning it are also going to attend. And I got that by saying, okay, if I have 6 friends planning and they invite 12 people, that's 18 people. But if those same 6 friends invite 20 people, that's 26 people total. So they could have a pretty big party. All right, so that's one thing that I am kind of thinking of. Other things that I would take into consideration if it were me is the space that we would have this party. I wouldn't want it to be too big because people might kind of feel lonely, or it might feel empty. I wouldn't want it to be too small because then you're kind of running into each other and could get too hot. If I wanted, I'd have to decide if I wanted it outside or inside, what sort of food and drinks I would provide for the party, the time of day. All of those things are considerations for a party, and trying to accommodate 26 people can be kind of a challenge. So let's see what questions they have for us. So the first one is list at least 3 important things friends need to consider when planning the party. Why are each of these things important? Okay. So because this is my version of the course, the answers are in here, or at least what they're telling me to look for is in here. So I might as well just review this for you so that you know what I'm looking at. Answers could include or should include logical reasoning, include but are not limited to the number of people, the cost of food, the amount of food, the time and length of the party, decorations, entertainment, etc. Okay, so when I list 3 things, I would say the things that I would consider when planning the party. I would consider 1, the size of the venue. Okay. 2, big feels empty, but too small is crowded. Okay. 2. After the size of the venue, I would take into consideration the cost of food. And this is important because I love my friends, but I don't want to go broke in feeding them. And the last thing that I would say is important in this situation is entertainment. Am I just going to play music and let everyone talk? Am I going to hire a band? Are we going to play games? If I'm going to go to a party, I want to know what's going to happen at that party. So I would want to be able to share that with the people that I'm inviting. So to me, that's a big deal. And so I'm going to put that's important because I like to have a plan for get-togethers. Okay, so like I said, you can use these same answers if you would like, but you do not have to. You can use your own. You just have to make sure that you give me the why each of these is important. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What types of calculations may be involved in trying to determine the cost of the party? Give at least 2 specific examples. And as you can see here, we've got the answers in here. One example of a calculation that would be used to determine the total cost of the party would be addition. After finding out how much each food item costs, you'd want to add it together to get the total cost of food per person. Another calculation could be multiplication. So multiplication could be used when you want to purchase multiple quantities of a food item, and you would need to know the number of guests that will attend so that you can then multiply the cost of that food by the total number of expected guests. Okay, so those are just examples, but let me just kind of write it out in the way that I would want to see it. Okay, so if one example of adding is a calculation that we can use. They said adding the different food items to get the total cost of food per person. I think an even simpler and very important way we could use adding is calculating I spelled that one wrong. Okay, calculating the number of people attending. Okay, easy enough. The second one that I would use is also multiplication. Okay, and I like the one that they have. So I would, the way I would do it is the total cost of food per person. Okay, so total cost of food per person. All right, and so this is in dollars. Okay, and I would multiply that by the number of people. And when I did that, it would give me the total cost of food because people cancel out, my units of people cancel out, and I'd be left with total food cost. So let's say, just for example, if I had 10 people and the cost was $15.50 per person, and if I multiply that by 10 people, then the food cost of that party would be $155. Okay, so that is what we're looking for. If you want to get really creative, you could say, well, I'm having pizza, and so I could use division to figure out how many slices of pizza each person could have. I could take the number of slices and divide it by the number of people, and then that's how many slices of pizza would be available to each person. There's any number of calculations that you can do here. I'm just looking for 2 solid examples. So that's all I have. When you're finished typing in these 2 answers, you're not going to submit the project. You won't submit until you get to lesson 5, and at the end of your lesson 5 project, that's when you'll submit this project. So please take the time to do these. I hope these videos will be helpful for you in completing these. The projects count for a significant portion of your grade, so it's really worth taking the time to do this. And of course, if you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to contact me directly. And I will look forward to seeing your project submitted. Thank you.